it's time for the papers. Flo's joining me here on set, looking at the headlines here in France. In 2 weeks, trade unions and business representatives, they're going to renegotiate the rules of France's very, very generous unemployment benefit system. The government is hinting here, Flo, isn't it, that it wants to make some very controversial changes.
That's right. Remember, the compensation debate is a very thorny one here in France. And according to Les Echos, the business paper, the government is opening the door to a gradual reduction in unemployment benefits. Essentially, the longer you're unemployed, the less you'll earn. That might sound normal in other countries, but it's not the case here in France. For now, in France, if you're unemployed, you get a stable amount of compensation throughout your unemployment period, which can last up to 2 years. So you can see why the fact that the government is perhaps maybe considering brushing on this very controversial unemployment benefit system. That's why it's such a thorny debate that's being opened again here in France.
It's something business representatives have been wanting for a long time, actually, isn't it? But why the sudden change of heart from the government, the socialist government?
That's right. Well, not unsurprisingly, it costs a lot of money. The very generous unemployment benefit system is running at a loss as well. It's going to run up a debt worth 30 billion euros by the end of the year, according to Les Echos. The problem is, though, that trade unions are hell-bent on putting up a fight against any change to the current system. They say changing the system would just mean that unemployed people would risk falling into poverty. And also, they argue that this system, this gradual system, a decreasing system, has already been used once, and it was a flop. And you can read more about it here in this article in Les Echos. 20 years ago, France was facing massive unemployment, and the government at the time put in place a gradual decreasing benefit system. And studies say that actually it made it harder for people to find work. So it kind of went against the whole purpose of that system.
Now, you found a piece in Les Echos, haven't you, saying a lot of this is to do with politics. The socialists basically trying to put something in place already to destabilise the right wing, elections in mind. Maybe.
That's right. The socialist government keeps being accused of treading on the right wing's turf, and this is exactly what's happening in this case. This is the editorial in Les Echos that says that criticised on the left, François Hollande is rushing towards the right, and he keeps stealing ideas from the right. For instance, we've seen all the controversy around taking people's nationality away, and now he is doing the same thing when it comes to economics. And according to Les Echos, essentially what Hollande wants to do is to push the right even more to the right and to force them to make a mistake and also just steal all their good ideas. Le Parisien today is also focusing on this issue. It's a huge story today. Are they going to touch our unemployment benefits? And who are they? Well, you can see the Prime Minister in the middle there, Manuel Valls, the Economy Minister, Emmanuel Macron, and the Labour Minister, Myriam El Khomri. So you can see them there. They're looking pretty threatening. So I guess Aujourd'hui en France thinks that things might be getting dangerous as well.
Looks like a shot from The Apprentice, doesn't it? Cartoons, they always sum things up well. Flo loves them. We love them too. You pulled out a couple, haven't you?
That's right. This one's pretty good. This is an Aujourd'hui en France by Rançon. You can see the very eager economic minister there, Emmanuel Macron, saying, why don't we just get rid of unemployment benefits altogether? That way, people will stop going to the unemployment office and signing up for unemployment, and that'll mean that the number of job seekers will automatically decrease, right? So you can see Valls there saying, yeah, okay, that seems logical, but it's a little too early to go there. And let's look at another cartoon. This is on the front page of L'Opinion. Now, last week, the president pardoned Jacqueline Sauvage. That was a big story here in France, a woman sentenced for killing her abusive husband. So he used his presidential pardon, something that François Hollande hasn't done very much as president. And you can see him here considering using the presidential pardon for some people who are on unemployment as well. It would certainly be a unique way of tackling unemployment here in France.
Certainly would be. Let's move on to something else now. The left-leaning paper Libération, they're investigating the state of public primary schools and also nursery schools. This in the southern city of Marseille.
That's right. Very interesting investigation in Libération today. It says it's really not a pretty picture. You can see they're talking about the shame of the Republic. The buildings are unsanitary and falling apart. You can see some photos there, pretty striking photos taken from inside these public primary schools and nursery schools. And inside the investigation, Libé says that really the schools are subpar, they're mismanaged. Often the heating doesn't work. Parents are asked to provide toilet paper for their children. The school canteens aren't big enough. Staff members interviewed in this investigation say that they feel ashamed of the service, essentially, that they're providing to these little children. What is the mayor of Marseille doing? That's what Libération wants to know. And it's published this shocking investigation to try and shake public authorities into action to address this issue, especially at a time when we're saying it's urgent to focus on future generations and protect the values of the French Republic across the country. Clearly, there's some serious work that needs to be done in Marseille, according to Libération, and it's a very important thing to do if we want French public schools to save face.
Flo, thank you very much. Flo, we're looking at the French papers here on France 24. Of course, you'll be back in 2 hours' time looking at the international ones. No doubt you'll be reacting to the caucus.
I think I might.
In Iowa. Yeah, exactly. We'll have all the news on that for you if you're just joining us right after the break here on France 24.